Okay, so yes, we're back in Albuquerque, New Mexico with Officer Kenneth Skeens, and if you remember from the last video, he's the one that arrested Matthew McManus, the disabled man, because he was trying to buy a bike, and the cops thought he might be stealing it, although he had all the money there for it. So they drug him out and arrested him. And they're saying now that's what he was fired for, but they said in the video that I did that he was fired for something else. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. This one is the Keyshawn Thomas, where he shot him, and they're saying that the video will prove that that's what happened. So we're going to watch this video, and then we're going to go to their press conference where they're going to show you that this Keyshawn Thomas had a gun. You ready? Here we go.
The Albuquerque Police Department released lapel video of the deadly shooting of a drunk man parked at a gas station. It sparked protest earlier this month, and today it had the police chief and ACLU trading jabs.
The car was not raining or anything. It's just kind of just sitting there.
August 28th, a worker at the Valero gas station on Coors and I-40 calls 911. She says a man had been in this green car parked at a pump for more than 4 hours.
You're not in trouble. What's going on, man? You okay? Okay. Just stand up, get up. You're not in trouble. Just stand up and get out.
Police tell him they saw open containers in his car.
Well, I haven't given you guys a hard time, shoot.
Yeah, you did. I told you to take a seat. You said no. Then you want to play dumb, so you're in an open container when it's right there in the cup holder.
Now, he's looking in the car. He sees an open container. The other ones say several open containers. So they should have looked in that car enough to know maybe, I don't know, there's a firearm.
I'm going through a hard time.
Keyshawn Thomas admits he's drunk, while officers tell him he could have hurt others.
I haven't heard anything. So don't justify drunk. Yeah, I am drunk.
What's your problem?
The officers and Thomas curse at each other.
Don't hit me with the
Because that's totally professional for law enforcement to just stand there and cuss at somebody that's under the influence, right? It is not.
Because that's not the way police work.
The name-calling goes back and forth. Since the car wasn't running and he didn't have any warrants, officers told him he needed to call someone to pick up his car. But Thomas says his phone is in his car.
And then in another one, they have a conversation, and he finally tells him, well, you can call somebody or you can take off walking. So wait, you're going to let somebody drunk just take off walking? Confused about that, too.
Can I walk to my car?
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, it's not me. You don't have weapons, right?
No, I don't. I do have a weapon.
I do have a weapon in my trunk. So that should have clued them in, and he's intoxicated. So do they think he knows exactly where it's at? They know there's a weapon somewhere in that car. Seems to me like they, I don't know, might not have let him go back to that car. They tell them once you get him out of the car, don't let him return to the car. Officer safety, don't let him return to the car. Why didn't they go to the car and get the phone or look for the phone? Or have him go inside and call somebody.
And in my trunk.
Thomas pulls out a magazine from his pocket.
Now we know for sure there's a weapon in the car because he has pulled out the magazine and he has handed it to Mr. Law Enforcement.
Thomas pulls out a magazine.
Right there. So yes, there's definitely a weapon in that vehicle somewhere. So what are we going to do? We're going to let him go back to the car. I'm just saying.
From his pocket and gives it to officers and heads to his car. The officer's video shows Thomas digging.
Now this is the only the video that you can clearly see what's going on. The problem is you're not actually going to get to see what goes on. You're going to have to take their word for it.
Around in his car. All three.
That's all you get to know. And then this one is looking back like, what are we doing? I don't know. Well, what's this about? I'm going to point my gun here, but I'm going to look back like I'm confused.
Officers say they saw a gun in his hand and he pointed it at them.
All three officers say he had a gun. How are all three officers able to see his right hand based on this? You got one here, you got one here, and you have one over here. How are all three officers able to see this hand right down there? You have to take their word for it.
Around in his car. All three officers say they saw a gun in his hand and he pointed it at them. So
how's this one over here going to see his right hand? That is a complete lie.
They opened fire. APD says this loaded gun was found on the floorboard of Thomas's car, with the magazine found on the driver's seat.
On the floorboard. So how many magazines did he have? On the floorboard. What floorboard?
And there was no cell phone in the car. Thomas later died at the hospital.
It's that mixture of firearms and alcohol. And when you
It's also that mixture of firearms and law enforcement. I'm just throwing that out there.
have a firearm, you have to be responsible and you have to not put yourself in these positions.
Although Chief Medina added his officers could have handled some things better.
They could have just simply not let him go back to the car. And let's see all the video.
Like not getting frustrated with Thomas and cursing. The chief also questioning if the officers
Yeah, where's the little bit of de-escalation at?
should have allowed Thomas to go back into his car.
Once they knew, once he handed them the magazine, don't say clip because they'll hit you with a wiffle ball bat and BLET. I'm just saying, once they saw that magazine and they knew that went to a firearm, why did they let him go back to the car? Why didn't they say, I'll get your phone, or you can go inside and call, or here's my phone, you can call somebody?
Earlier this month, the shooting sparked protests with the ACLU demanding APD release the video and calling the death unnecessary.
These statements such as these that drive a wedge between the Albuquerque Police Department and communities that have never had strong relationships.
You know what else? You know what else creates a wedge between the police department and communities that have never had strong relations with them? The police department. That wedge is right there because of them.
With the police department are extremely unprofessional, uncalled for, and irresponsible.
An angry chief calling out the ACLU today, saying it's irresponsible for them to draw conclusions before APD has time to investigate and release the video.
Scapegoat our organization as a reason that there is distrust in APD and communities of color. That distrust has a long history.
The chief's comments today echoed the ACLU's criticism that officers should have done things differently and not allowed Thomas to go back to his car.
I'm just saying that would be a good idea. So we're going to look at what they're saying is going to show you that he had a gun in his hand. Also, I would like to note for this one, I'm going to read a little clip it from one of the articles. It said that investigation report wasn't immediately available, but the APD spokesman said it determined Skeens violated the de-escalation policy and he received an 8-hour suspension and a verbal reprimand. Spokesman Gilbert Gallegos and Flores and Ketchum violated policies regarding rendering aid, de-escalation, and conducting a preliminary investigation, and were each given a written reprimand and 2 verbal reprimands. As of the late August shooting, investigators found that Officer Flores and Ketchum complied with policy, meaning their use of force was necessary, reasonable, minimal, and proportional pursuant to the perceived, imminent, and immediate threat. Skeens was determined to have violated the policy in the shooting since he couldn't actually see Thomas's actions, despite telling investigators Thomas punched his arm out and pointed the gun at where Officer Flores was, and that when Officer Flores was, and that's when he fired at him. Based on the preponderance of evidence, Officer Skeens was not likely to have been able to see Mr. Thomas's punch out with a gun, the investigator wrote. This is also based on the interviews of Officer Ketchum and Officer Flores, also based on the fact that Mr. Thomas's right arm was still back when Officer Skeens fired his firearm. Based on the conflicting evidence, Officer Skeens was not able to assess the deadly threat, which would put him out of policy. Skeens was fired on February 3rd, his attorney said. However, his termination was for arresting a man at Target without a lawful objective to do so. The man was trying to pay for a bike with cash and was having difficulty doing so. And Skeens is appealing his termination. So they say this is going to show you he had a gun. You ready? Here we go.
Just at the end, and there's no audio.
And they slowed it down for you. His right arm's back here. And how convenient that the body camera turns away.
After the shooting takes place, Officer Skeens
That's what you get to see.
approaches the car and removes a gun from the driver's side floorboard.
Now they're saying driver's side floorboard. And now they're going to show you the different views that the different officers had. You ready? This is going to show it too, I guess. So I guess this officer that's standing right here, this would be the body cam footage of where you can see that he has a gun. They're so not concerned. They're just standing back chilling, just yapping. Why wouldn't they be up there or not let him go to the car? Be up there at the car to see what he's doing. This is the three different views. This one's, you can't see anything. This one's far away, and this one has a glare. But trust them when they tell you he had a gun. See, so it'd be from this one right here's body cam. He's right there. Where's the gun? You're going to see he had a gun. You see none of that. You see zero of that. And that's where we're at with this one. And then zero of them rendered aid. This is where we're at. I'm just saying. So, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Also, 89% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand. You're at your laptop. Click the button and we will move along. Let me know what you think about this one. And I'm out.